You know, there's so many ways when we listen to all of us share that we don't talk about ahead of time. And we discovered that just because we are allowing Spirit, the creative force within us, to guide us, that it all works together. And that's what happens when we feel safe, when we let go of trying to control. Because the truth is that Creator, the creative force, the creative power, created all of us as creators. And when we deny that power, when we forget it, neglect it, ignore it, dismiss it, what happens is we lose awareness of it. But as children, on some level you knew. And what you didn't understand, perhaps, was how other people were using their creative power unconsciously or without awareness. So I'm going to take you back. All of us, I believe, played house, played store, played doctor, played bank, right? On some level, we all tried to be creative, like grown-ups. And I think when we did that, we all had a picture in mind that it was going to be wonderful, that the outcome was going to be perfect. Boy, I didn't know I was going to talk about this. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is what I'm hearing now in kids. Because I'm not hearing that. I have a family living next door with 7 children, and I hear them copying murders. Oh. Deep sorrow comes up. Abuse, male to female. Yes, they're pretending, but who are they copying? And what are they watching? And who's there to show them another way? And where is their lost innocence? And I'm asking you, I'm praying that you take back your creative power and you create anew.
Yes.
Part of it is what we're doing in our workshop. How do you respond? Prayerfully, in a healing way, in a positive way. Because it's not just by showing up at church. It's every day, in every way, with everyone, everywhere. It's with what you see on TV, in the news, what you hear from someone who tells you their troubled times. We need to learn to take back our creative power. No one is made to be a victim. Everyone is created with their God self, their creative force inside. And if you've been playing the game of being helpless, hopeless, and victimized, it's time that we forgive ourselves and take responsibility. Our world needs our change. The yard sale. I heard you talk about the yard sale. The yard sale was highly, highly successful because you came there for the fun and joy of it. Because you came to love your brothers and sisters who were there participating with you. You came because it was a game of fulfillment and joy and creation. And it worked. So what games do you play in now? What games do you engage in up here with your pocketbook? With when you drive on the freeway? Within your family system, what games are you playing? Are they happy games? Are they games that the God in you wants the whole world to see and hear and feel and live and love and laugh and be happy? One of my favorite songs. Or are they games of fear and despair? Are they games of sorrow and regret? Are they games of looking back at the past? Or believing the world has gone to hell? Because you're the heaven. You are the heaven. You are the unlimited source. We said it before I came up here. Unlimited in power and in peace. That's who we are. So let's not show up anymore acting like what somehow we think the world is telling us to act like. And be the source of limitlessness. So I'm kind of segueing off several people who spoke, whether it was Kat's prayer or poem, or Ira talking about tithing, or Barbara talking about the great fun at the yard sale. But I want you to remember that this stuff is real and present right now. Right now. I grew up at a time, and I'm very grateful that I chose to come in at that time, where I saw my father go to war. But somehow it was not held in that disastrous way. And my father chose, being a non-traditional, non-church-going Christian Scientist, I later found out, because where he hung out was never church, there wasn't any around, but he went to Christian Science reading rooms as a youngster, as a teenager. And so he never spoke about what he saw and heard there. I wonder why not. I know over the years it was talked about. I wonder why Dad didn't talk about that. I know now, because it's gone. It's our job as creators to undo everything we no longer want to be true. Is that not our job?
Yep.
So I talk about forgiveness a lot. You don't tell old stories about crappy stuff. And definitely, what I saw in my family system was finding a way to see the richness, the love, and the beauty in absolutely everything. So you could say, with very little actual money, there was so much prosperity, I never had a sense of feeling lacking or unsafe in any way. Now, you could say, I was just listening to some of your thoughts right there. Wow, how fortunate you were, Betty Lue. I was. See, I can hear you too. I was, it's true. But also, I know that by continuing throughout my early childhood and beyond to the spirit of goodness and God within, that was my true teacher. So anything that might have seemed at all different than wholeness, goodness, and love, my inner teacher was always telling me the truth. And so is yours if you can reclaim that inner voice.
Yeah.
It's a choice, you know. It's a choice. You can put your hearing aid on for outside sounds and listen more out here and turn the TV louder, right? Or what you can do is you can put earplugs on out here and turn your inner ear higher so that you can listen to that sweet voice within that will allow you to create. I will. Thy will be my will. I will be the source of your will right here, right now, in this life. Where would you have me go? Robert said that, I heard him a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
What would you have me do? What do you want me to say and to whom? How do you want me to show up? So let's talk a little practicality here. So one of the things that Robert was talking about self-preservation, they need to take care of themselves first. Relational is one-on-one. They need to take care of the other first and make sure the beloved is close. And then social global is looking out for the welfare of all humanity all the time. And we're all different. We all come from a different place. But there's some other aspects to our spiritual journey, and I'm going to talk about them right now briefly. If you want to know more, I'll send you more stuff on it. It seems like we all come in at a different place in time in our own spiritual development. And sometimes that, I'll say, that spiritual development place feels pretty difficult, chaotic, uncertain, fearful, troubles, challenges, perhaps abuse, harm, war, death, divorce, all that stuff. And if not you, you know of other people who come in those chaotic times. How in heck do they create themselves out of a prison that for sure they know they have not made? I want to honor that. Do you understand? I want to honor that there are those folks that know that they had nothing to do with this mess that they were born into. So what's a good way for them to create? Because some of you are in this room, I know you are. So what's a good way to create? You try to clean up as you go.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Glass is shattered all over the place. Hearts are broken. Feelings are hurt. Perhaps you're neglected or not fed. And there's plenty of it up in the county where I now live. What do? You clean it up as you go. You make the best you can of difficult circumstances. And along the way, my prayer is that you keep your eyes, your ears, your hands, your heart open for someone who will walk beside you when you forget. Just be with that. If you've known of someone who's forgotten you, or if you know of someone that you've forgotten, I want you to create a safe place for them. I want you to walk with them. I want you to teach them, step by step. Not jumping off a cliff into this higher power stuff I'll talk about in a minute. But just help them clean it up. In their home, in their bed, in their relationships, in what they're ingesting, in their finances. See, she's worried about me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want these people to worry about me. Okay, thank you. I actually got wax in my face. So, yes, now she can breathe. By the way, what she just did was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. She had a thought that there might be a problem. Like you could have a thought there might be a problem in that family next door. And the question is, what can you do? My blue bracelets, they're in those baskets back there. What can I do? And what she chose to do is express. Even though it didn't look like it was appropriate, it was in the middle of service, she expressed because she wanted me to be safe, and that showed me that she cared and loved. That's what I want you to do for your neighbors. That's what I want you to do for the people on the street. That's what I want you to do, is what you can do. And then you will feel filled with love because you have created a safe moment, a safe place for that person who needs you then. You create. Okay? Now I'm going to go to the next place that some of us deal with, maybe on a regular basis. In a way, it was like Ira talking about his teenage years. And the next place we often go to into a structured institution. It could be a school, it could be a church, it could be a cult, it could be a certain belief system, and it has rules and it has definition, and you follow the rules, otherwise your life doesn't work. So how do you create in that space? How do you create when you are sitting in a relationship where there's certain rules about how you have to behave? Or on the job site, and it's not what you would do, you don't feel free there, but they are the rules. And you want to be creative there. If you want to be creative, you don't resist, and you don't fight, and you don't make them wrong. Have you ever noticed that? With people who want to be right, 2 fingers on the mouth, and what you do is you work with it. Ooh, I liked what Kathy just did. See, I went like this, and she went like this, which is like a kiss. Very nice. And let it go. Thank you. It is good how we are together. Isn't it? It's so good. So yes, that's really good. Bless you. It's like, bless you, brother. It's where each individual is that we are to meet them with our own inner resource of creativity. Always bring it to the highest level of goodness, wholeness, and love. Always. Okay, so let me go to the next level, because many of us here have been in institutionalized systems somewhere along the way, school, church, etc., right? Where there were a lot of rules to follow, and you need to find a way to follow the rules and still feel free and happy and all of that stuff. But then there's another state, which I know there are a lot in here. It's called being a skeptic or a seeker. Meaning being uncertain. What is God? And where is this church thing? And how do you do this stuff? And what about prosperity principles and healing, spiritual healing? That sounds like nonsense. But it seems like some people believe in it, so I'm going to start exploring. So aren't a lot of you there? I'm not really certain, but I want to explore. I'm going to wait just a minute. Yeah, it's okay. So When you find yourself in that place of exploration, trying to understand and figure out, your creative power wants to explore, experiment, try out things. Try out believing this, try out affirmations, try out denials, try out doing the writing stuff, try out praying on your hands and knees, try out standing up and doing meditation, try out all of the different forms of everything, because there's an infinite supply of possibilities. We are as creative as, we create, I don't know how to say it. You create lots of different ways to find yourself home again. That's the bottom line. Lots of different ways. And you're looking for the way that works for you. That's what you're looking for, the way that works for you. What are you ready and willing to believe in? What are you willing and ready to celebrate? Wow, I created that. So when you look at life, I want you to begin to look at what you've created so far. What have you created so far? Because there it's represented. The choices are represented, the possibilities are represented, the ups and downs are represented. All of us have an experience of all that wide open, every possibility available to us. So we've got the chaotic state, and then we've got kind of the structured, rigid program state, and then we have the skeptic or the seeker state, which is questioning and wondering and trying out things. And then we have what some people call the mystics, or the mystical state. Oh, Randy set up with that. Oh, I like that. It sounds really good to me, right? Magical mystery tour and all that stuff, right? I knew that I'd find some way. Okay. So when you look at your life in the mystical state, what I sometimes call woo-woo, or when I lived there almost exclusively for a period of 8 years, I would call it my ivory tower. Living in heaven 24/7. Possible, but you're not very much playing in the world then. It's a great state, we also call it Angel Island. It's a great state or place to go to, right? But it feels like you're separate from your brothers and sisters. So how do you create? Yes, when you're a child. How do you create when you're in that mystical heavenly state? But you want to find a way to love your sisters and brothers and help them find a better way. And I'm just going to give you the opportunity to literally take the bridge and walk back to where they are. Create a life of service. Create a life of simply loving each one as they are. Create a life where you listen and care, where you love and share the best that you have. Your own way. Not needing to change anyone or fix anyone, but love them as they are. Because you know we're all in different places all the time. We all have changing masks, changing faces, changing opportunities, changing stages in life. And I don't know about you, but I don't know where I'm going to be the next day when I wake up. So because that's true, I can go back to what I talked about in the beginning. How do I create? So when I don't know, I create with what I see when I wake up. I clean up as I go. And then when I find myself using some rule or some commandment or somebody, something, trying to get me to understand it or conform with what they believe, what I do is I love them, I bless them, and I let them be. And when I go to that place of experimenting and trial and error and trying to figure out, well, what is working here and why isn't it working the way I thought it was going to work, and all that, I just keep on joyfully exploring and experimenting and trying different things. That's creating. And when I am in that mystical state, I'm living in heaven here now. I'm in love 24/7. I don't have a yammy-yamma mind anymore. I'm quiet and still. I allow the voice within, the heart in me, to create with everything I see the opportunity to love. You. Me. all that is. That's how to create your own unique way. And I am loving you as you are, creators in my life as well as in your own.